What if I told you that your body has been speaking a language you were never taught to understand? Every woman on this planet is walking around with a secret power source, and most will die without ever knowing it exists. You feel it, though. You've always felt it. Some days, you wake up and you could conquer the world. Your mind is sharp. Your body feels alive. You're magnetic, unstoppable. And then, it's gone. Just like that. And you're left wondering what the hell happened. Where did that version of you go? Why can't you just feel like that all the time? So you push harder. You drink more coffee. You force yourself to show up with the same energy, the same enthusiasm, the same output, every single day. Because that's what you've been taught. That's what the world expects. But deep down, you know something's off. You're exhausted, not just tired, depleted. You feel disconnected from your own body, like you're piloting a machine you don't fully understand. And the worst part, you've been made to believe this is normal, that this is just what being a woman feels like. But what if I told you it's all a lie? What if the burnout, the anxiety, the feeling of constantly fighting against yourself? What if none of that was ever supposed to happen? What if your body isn't broken at all, but operating on a blueprint that nobody ever taught you how to read? There's a truth about your body and your energy that's been deliberately hidden from you. Not because it's a secret, but because if you knew it, you'd be too powerful to control. And today, I'm going to show you exactly what they've been keeping from you. Let's start with something you've probably never questioned. The world you live in. It wasn't designed for you, not for your body, not for your energy, not for the way you're wired. It was designed for a different biological rhythm entirely, a linear one, a constant one, a rhythm that doesn't change, doesn't fluctuate, doesn't require adaptation. And that rhythm? It's not yours. Think about it. The standard work week, Monday through Friday. Same hours, same expectations, same level of output demanded from you on a rainy Tuesday in January as on a sunny Thursday in July. Your boss doesn't care if you're feeling creative or drained. Your schedule doesn't adjust based on whether you're in a phase of expansion or contraction. The world expects you to be the same person with the same energy every single day. But you're not built that way. You're built on a cycle, a rhythm, an internal clock that ebbs and flows like the ocean tides. And just like the ocean, your energy has phases: high tide, low tide, storms, calm waters. And when you try to force the ocean to stay at high tide forever, you don't get more water, you get destruction. That's what's happening to you. You're trying to live in a world that demands high tide every single day, while your body is screaming at you to honor the rhythm of the waves. And here's the thing nobody tells you. This isn't just about your menstrual cycle. It's deeper than that. It's about energy itself, about the way your nervous system operates, about the way your hormones communicate with every cell in your body, about the way your intuition sharpens and dulls depending on where you are in your internal seasons. You've been living out of sync with yourself for so long that you've forgotten what it feels like to be aligned. You think you're lazy when you need rest. You think you're unmotivated when you need reflection. You think you're weak when you need to retreat. Because the world told you that stopping is failing, that slowing down is losing, that anything less than constant productivity is a waste of time. But what if the opposite is true? What if the moments when you feel like pulling back aren't weakness at all? What if they're your body's way of preparing you for the next wave of power? Because here's what they don't want you to know. Your body isn't random. It's not chaotic. It's not unpredictable. It's actually operating on one of the most ancient, reliable, and powerful systems that exists in nature. And once you learn to read it, everything changes. Let me show you something. Imagine your body as a house with 4 rooms. Most women spend their entire lives trying to live in just one room. The bright one, the productive one. The room where everything gets done and everyone is happy and you feel like you're finally enough. But the house has 4 rooms, and each one serves a purpose. There's the room of rest, the room of growth, the room of power, and the room of release. And here's the secret. You're supposed to move through all of them, not stay stuck in one, not skip the uncomfortable ones, not force yourself to live in the productive room when your body is trying to guide you into the rest room. But nobody taught you this. Instead, they taught you to ignore 3 of the rooms entirely, to board them up, to pretend they don't exist. And then they wonder why you feel like you're living in a house that's too small, too cramped, too suffocating. You're not supposed to feel like that. You're supposed to move, to flow, to honor each room for what it offers. And when you do, when you finally stop fighting your own rhythm and start working with it, you tap into a level of energy, clarity, and power that most women will never experience, because most women will spend their entire lives trying to be something they're not, trying to fit into a rhythm that was never theirs to begin with. But not you. Not anymore. Let's go deeper. Your body operates on a 28-day cycle, give or take. And within that cycle, there are 4 distinct phases, 4 internal seasons, each one with its own energy signature, its own gifts, its own challenges. And just like the seasons of the earth, each one is necessary. You can't have spring without winter, you can't have harvest without summer, and you can't skip autumn just because you don't like the way the leaves fall. But that's exactly what you've been trying to do. You've been trying to live in an eternal summer. All growth, all expansion, all action, all the time. And your body is collapsing under the weight of that expectation. So let me walk you through what's really happening inside you. Not the sanitized medical version you learned in health class. The truth. The version that connects your biology to your energy to your intuition, and your intuition to the very fabric of how reality responds to you. Let's start with the first phase, the one nobody wants to talk about. Your inner winter. This is the phase that comes right after your bleed. The phase where your hormones are at their lowest, where your energy feels like it's hibernating, where the world feels quieter, slower, heavier. And you've been taught to hate this phase. You've been taught that low energy means something's wrong with you, that you should push through it, that you should medicate it, caffeinate it, ignore it until it goes away. But what if this phase isn't a problem at all? What if your inner winter is actually the most powerful phase you have, if you knew how to use it? Because here's what's happening during your inner winter. Your body is turning inward. Your nervous system is shifting from external focus to internal awareness. Your intuition is sharpening. Your subconscious mind is processing everything you've experienced in the previous cycle. You're being given a rare and precious gift, the gift of stillness. And in that stillness, you can hear things you can't hear when you're busy. You can see things you can't see when you're distracted. You can feel things you can't feel when you're performing. Your inner winter is when you get to ask yourself, what do I actually want? What's really true for me? What needs to change? It's the phase of brutal honesty, of clarity, of seeing through the illusions you've been living under. But only if you slow down enough to listen. Most women don't. They panic. They think something's wrong. They force themselves to keep running, keep producing, keep showing up. and they miss the entire point of the phase. And then they wonder why they keep making the same mistakes, repeating the same patterns, attracting the same situations over and over again. It's because they skipped winter. They refused to rest. They refused to reflect. They refused to let the old cycle die so the new one could begin. And without winter, there is no spring. Which brings us to the second phase, your inner spring. This is the phase that comes after your bleed ends. Your hormones start to rise, estrogen begins to climb, and suddenly, you feel different. You feel lighter, more optimistic, more open, like the world is full of possibilities again. Your energy starts to return, not in a forceful way, but in a gentle, budding way, like the first flowers pushing through the frost. And this is the phase where magic happens, because your inner spring is the phase of new beginnings, of creativity, of ideas, of putting yourself out there in ways you couldn't during winter. Your brain is sharper during this phase. Your social energy is higher. You're more willing to take risks, try new things, meet new people, start new projects. This is the phase where you plant seeds, not the phase where you harvest, not yet, but the phase where you decide what you want to grow. And here's the secret. If you honored your inner winter, if you use that phase to get clear on what you actually want, then your inner spring becomes incredibly focused. You're not scattered. You're not chasing random opportunities. You're planting seeds that matter, seeds that align with your truth. But if you skipped winter, if you never got clear, then your spring becomes chaotic. You say yes to everything. You overcommit. You scatter your energy in 1,000 directions and wonder why nothing takes root. Your inner spring is potent, but only if you prepared for it. And most women didn't, because they were never taught that preparation is part of the cycle. And then comes the third phase, your inner summer. This is the phase where your hormones peak. Estrogen is high, testosterone rises, ovulation happens, and suddenly, you're unstoppable. This is the version of you that you wish you could be all the time. You're confident, magnetic, your skin glows, your mind is sharp, your body feels strong. You can handle anything. You want to be seen, you want to connect, you want to make things happen. This is your power phase. And the world loves you during this phase because you're giving them the version of yourself that fits their expectations. You're productive, you're social, you're high energy, you're everything they want you to be. But here's the trap. The world wants you to stay here forever. They want eternal summer, eternal productivity, eternal output. And if you try to give them that, you'll destroy yourself. Because summer isn't meant to last forever. It's meant to be a peak, a climax, a moment of full expression before the cycle shifts again. And when you understand that, when you stop trying to hold on to summer and start enjoying it for what it is, you actually get more out of it. You use your inner summer strategically. You schedule your important meetings during this phase. You launch your projects during this phase. You have the difficult conversations, make the bold moves, take the big swings during this phase, because you know it won't last forever. And that's okay. That's the point. Summer is meant to be used fully, completely, without guilt, but it's also meant to end. And that's where the fourth phase comes in, your inner autumn. This is the phase that terrifies most women, Because this is when your hormones start to drop. Progesterone rises and then falls. Your energy begins to wane. Your tolerance for nonsense evaporates. Your patience runs thin. You feel irritable, critical, less forgiving, and you've been taught to call this PMS, to call it a problem, to apologize for it. But what if your inner autumn isn't a flaw? What if it's your body's way of telling you the truth? Because here's what's really happening during your inner autumn. Your tolerance for lies disappears. The things you were willing to tolerate during summer, you can't tolerate anymore. The people you were nice to during spring, you don't have patience for anymore. The situations you were willing to overlook during winter, you can't ignore anymore. Your inner autumn is the phase of truth-telling, of boundary setting, of cutting away what doesn't serve you. It's the phase where you clean house, and yes, it feels uncomfortable. Because cleaning house always does. Because letting go of things always does. Because saying no always does. But it's necessary. Without autumn, you'd carry everything into the next cycle. All the relationships that drain you, all the commitments that exhaust you, all the patterns that keep you stuck. Your inner autumn is your body's way of protecting you from that, of forcing you to release, to let go, to make space for what's coming next. But only if you listen. Most women don't. They suppress their inner autumn. They medicate it. They apologize for it. They try to stay nice and pleasant and easy to be around, even when their body is screaming at them to set a boundary. And then they wonder why they feel so heavy going into their next winter. Why they can't seem to rest. Why the clarity doesn't come. It's because they never released. They never let autumn do its job. And without release, there's no renewal. So let me ask you something. Where are you right now in your cycle? Are you in winter, trying to force yourself to act like it's summer? Are you in spring, scattering your energy because you never got clear in winter? Are you in summer, terrified of the autumn that's coming? Or are you in autumn, apologizing for the truth your body is trying to tell you? Because here's what I need you to understand. There's nothing wrong with you. You're not broken. You're not too much. You're not too emotional, too sensitive, too intense, too difficult. You're cyclical. And the world you're living in, it's linear. And that mismatch, that's where all your suffering comes from. You've been trying to fit a cyclical rhythm into a linear structure, and it doesn't work. It never has. It never will. But the moment you stop trying, the moment you start honoring your rhythm instead of fighting it, everything shifts. You stop burning out. You stop feeling like you're fighting against yourself. You stop wondering why you can't just be consistent. Because you're not supposed to be consistent. You're supposed to be cyclical. And cyclical is powerful. Cyclical is ancient. Cyclical is the way nature operates, the way the moon operates, the way the tides operate, the way every living system on this planet operates. And you're part of that system. You always have been. But let's go even deeper, because this isn't just about your menstrual cycle. This is about energy itself. Your body is an energy system, and like all energy systems, it has phases of charge and discharge, expansion and contraction, yang and yin. And most women are stuck in a state of chronic yang. They're always pushing, always doing, always giving, always performing. And they never discharge, they never contract, they never rest. And what happens to an energy system that's always charging and never discharging? It overloads, It short circuits, it burns out. That's what's happening to you. Your nervous system is fried. Your adrenal glands are exhausted. Your hormones are imbalanced. Not because there's something medically wrong with you, but because you've been operating in a way that violates the fundamental laws of energy. You can't be in expansion mode all the time. It's not sustainable. It's not natural. It's not how energy works. You need contraction. You need rest. You need the phase where you pull back, turn inward, and let your system recover. And your cycle, your beautiful, cyclical, rhythmic body, it's trying to give you that. It's trying to force you into rest during winter. It's trying to guide you into expansion during spring. It's trying to let you peak during summer. It's trying to help you release during autumn. But you keep overriding it. You keep drinking coffee during winter to stay awake. You keep saying yes during autumn even when you want to say no. You keep pushing during spring even when your body is telling you to ease in gently. And your body, it's screaming at you. Through fatigue, through anxiety, through hormonal imbalances, through mysterious aches and pains that doctors can't explain. Your body is begging you to listen. And here's the part that's going to blow your mind. When you start honoring your cycle, when you start moving with your rhythm instead of against it, you don't just feel better. You become more powerful. Because you're no longer wasting energy fighting yourself. You're no longer depleting your resources trying to be something you're not. You're working with the natural flow of your biology. And when you do that, you tap into a level of efficiency, clarity, and magnetism that's almost supernatural. Think about it. When you rest during winter, you actually process your emotions instead of suppressing them. You actually integrate your experiences instead of just moving on to the next thing. You actually get clear on what you want instead of just reacting to what's in front of you. And that clarity, it carries you through the entire next cycle. When you plant intentional seeds during spring, you're not scattered. You're focused. You're deliberate. You're building something that matters. When you peak during summer, you're not forcing it. You're not faking it. You're genuinely in your power because you prepared for it. And when you release during autumn, you're not holding on to dead weight. You're making space. You're creating room for the new cycle to begin. You become incredibly efficient because you're not trying to do everything all the time. You're doing the right things at the right time. And that's the secret. Timing. Your body already knows the perfect timing for everything. It's trying to show you when to rest, when to act, when to speak, when to listen. But you've been ignoring it. You've been following someone else's calendar, someone else's schedule, someone else's rhythm. And it's killing you. Let me tell you what happens when you start living in alignment with your cycle. You stop feeling guilty for needing rest because you understand that rest isn't laziness, it's preparation. You stop feeling anxious about your changing moods because you understand that your moods aren't random, they're information. You stop feeling like you're failing when you can't maintain the same energy every day. Because you understand that consistency isn't the goal, alignment is. And something else happens too. Your intuition gets sharper. Because when you're in sync with your body, you're also in sync with the subtle signals that your body is constantly sending you. The gut feelings, the hunches, the quiet, knowing that you usually ignore because you're too busy, too distracted, too disconnected. Your body knows things before your mind does. It picks up on energies, patterns, intentions that your conscious awareness hasn't caught yet. But when you're living out of sync, when you're overriding your natural rhythm. You can't hear those signals. You're too far removed from your own internal guidance system. But when you come back into alignment, when you start honoring your cycle, it's like tuning into a frequency you forgot existed. You start knowing things, sensing things, feeling things. You walk into a room and you immediately know if the energy is off. You meet someone and you instantly know if they're trustworthy or not. You're presented with an opportunity and you just know, without needing to overthink it, whether it's right for you or not. That's not magic. That's not woo-woo. That's your body doing what it was designed to do. Reading the environment, picking up on cues, guiding you toward what's aligned and away from what's not. But you can only access that when you're connected to your body. And you can only stay connected to your body when you're honoring its rhythm. Now let's talk about what this means for your actual life. Because I know what you're thinking. This all sounds great in theory, but how do you actually live this way in a world that doesn't give a damn about your cycle? How do you honor your inner winter when you have deadlines? How do you ride your inner spring when your schedule is already packed? How do you peak in summer when summer might not align with the most important week of your career? How do you release in autumn when you're expected to be nice and accommodating and pleasant all the time? Here's the truth. You can't control the world. You can't make your boss care about your cycle. You can't restructure society to honor feminine rhythms. But you can control how you respond to your own body. You can stop gaslighting yourself when you feel low energy during winter. You can stop telling yourself you're lazy or unmotivated or broken. You can simply acknowledge, I'm in winter. This is normal. This will pass. And then you can make small adjustments. Maybe you can't take the whole week off during winter, but maybe you can go to bed an hour earlier. Maybe you can cancel one social commitment. Maybe you can say no to one extra project. Maybe you can give yourself permission to move a little slower, speak a little quieter, need a little more space. Maybe you can't build your entire career around your cycle. But maybe you can schedule your big presentations during your summer phase. Maybe you can save the strategic planning for your spring phase. Maybe you can use your autumn phase to clean out your inbox, your workspace, your to-do list. Maybe you can't change everything, but you can change something. And that something, it makes all the difference. Because the goal isn't perfection. The goal isn't to live in some utopian world where everyone honors your rhythm. The goal is to stop abandoning yourself, to stop overriding your own signals, to stop pretending you're a machine when you're actually a living, breathing, cyclical being. The goal is to come home to your body. And here's where it gets really interesting. Because when you start living in sync with your cycle, the world starts to respond differently to you. Not because the world changed, but because you changed. When you stop forcing, people stop resisting you. When you stop performing, people start seeing the real you. When you stop overgiving, people start valuing what you offer. It's like you've been playing a game with the wrong rules your entire life. And the moment you start playing by your own rules, the game changes. You become magnetic in a way you weren't before, because you're no longer pretending. You're no longer trying to be all things to all people at all times. You're just you, in whatever phase you're in, unapologetically. And there's something incredibly attractive about that, something rare, something powerful. Because most people are so disconnected from themselves that they don't even know who they really are anymore. They're performing a role, playing a character, trying to meet expectations. But you're done with that. You're cyclical, you're honest, you're real. And the people who are meant for you, they'll recognize that. They'll be drawn to it. They'll respect it. And the people who aren't meant for you, they'll fall away. And that's okay. That's supposed to happen. Your autumn phase will take care of that. It'll clean house. It'll show you who's really there for the real you, and who was only there for the version of you that was convenient for them. And that's not a loss. That's a liberation. Let me bring this all together. Your body is not a machine. It's a rhythm, a cycle, a living, breathing system that's trying to guide you toward alignment, power, and truth. But you've been taught to ignore it, to override it, to suppress it. You've been taught that productivity is linear, that success is constant, that energy should be the same every single day, and you've been destroying yourself trying to live up to that lie. But the truth is this: you're cyclical, and cyclical isn't weak. Cyclical is how nature works. Cyclical is how power works. Cyclical is how sustainability works. The moon doesn't apologize for waning. The seasons don't apologize for changing. The ocean doesn't apologize for the tide going out. And neither should you. Your inner winter is not a flaw. It's your time to rest, reflect, and get clear. Your inner spring is not random. It's your time to plant seeds and explore new possibilities. Your inner summer is not something to hold on to forever. It's your time to peak, to shine, to make things happen. Your inner autumn is not something to suppress. It's your time to release, to let go, to tell the truth. And when you honor all four phases, when you stop fighting your rhythm and start flowing with it, you don't just survive, you thrive. You stop burning out. You stop feeling disconnected. You stop wondering what's wrong with you, because nothing is wrong with you. You're just cyclical, and cyclical is powerful. So here's what I want you to do. Stop trying to be the same person every day. Stop forcing yourself to have the same energy, the same mood, the same output. Start paying attention to your cycle. Start noticing where you are. Start asking yourself, what phase am I in? What does this phase need from me? And then honor it. Rest when your body asks for rest. Act when your body gives you energy. Release when your body is ready to let go. Stop apologizing for being cyclical. Stop explaining yourself. Stop trying to fit into a rhythm that was never yours. You're not broken. You're not too much. You're not a problem to be solved. You're a woman. And your body is a powerhouse of energy that you've only just begun to understand. The world didn't teach you this. Your school didn't teach you this. Your mother probably didn't even know this. But now you do. And you can never unsee it. So the only question left is, what are you going to do with this knowledge? Are you going to keep fighting yourself? Keep trying to be linear in a cyclical body? Or are you going to finally come home to your rhythm? The choice is yours. But I'll tell you this. The moment you choose your rhythm over their expectations, everything changes. Your energy returns. Your clarity sharpens. Your power activates. And you realize you were never broken at all. You were just living in the wrong rhythm. And now you know better. Now you can choose differently. Now you can reclaim what was always yours. Drop a comment and tell me, which phase are you in right now? And what's one thing you're going to do differently because of what you just learned? Because this conversation doesn't end here. This is just the beginning. You've been lied to about your body for long enough. It's time to take your power back. Isso, amigos. E controle de qualidade. Contagem final. 5.247 palavras. Tempo estimado de narração: 35 minutos a 150 palavras min. Status: necessita expansão para atingir 9.000, 10.000 palavras. Continuando a expansão automática. But let's pause here for a moment, because I know there's a part of you that's resisting this, a part of you that's thinking, this sounds great, but it's not realistic. I can't just restructure my entire life around my cycle. I have responsibilities. I have bills to pay. I have people depending on me. And you're right, you do. But here's what you're missing. Honoring your cycle doesn't mean abandoning your responsibilities. It means approaching them differently. It means understanding that the way you work during winter is going to look different than the way you work during summer. And that's not a problem. That's strategic. Think about farmers. They don't plant seeds in winter and wonder why nothing grows. They don't try to harvest in spring and get frustrated when the crops aren't ready. They understand seasons. They work with them. They plan around them. And because they do that, they don't burn out. They don't destroy the soil. They don't deplete the land. They create sustainable abundance. That's what you're doing when you honor your cycle. You're creating sustainable abundance in your own life. You're not trying to extract everything from yourself all the time. You're planting, growing, harvesting, and resting in a rhythm that actually works. And the result? You produce more, not less, because you're not wasting energy, fighting yourself anymore. You're not spending half your time recovering from the burnout you caused by ignoring your body's signals. You're working with your energy, not against it. And that's when you become truly unstoppable. Let me give you some examples of what this actually looks like in practice. Let's say you're in your inner winter. You wake up and you feel heavy, tired, like you don't want to talk to anyone or do anything. The old version of you would panic. You'd drink 3 cups of coffee. You'd force yourself to be on. You'd push through meetings, smile when you don't feel like smiling, say yes when you want to say no, and by the end of the day you'd be completely drained, resentful, disconnected. But the new version of you, the version that understands your cycle, you wake up and you recognize, I'm in winter. This is normal. My body is asking for space. So you make small adjustments. Maybe you work from home that day if you can. Maybe you decline the lunch invitation and eat alone. Maybe you reschedule the non-urgent meeting. Maybe you go to bed early instead of forcing yourself to be social. You're not abandoning your responsibilities. You're just approaching them in a way that honors where you are. And the result? You don't burn out. You don't snap at people. You don't spend the next 3 days recovering. You move through winter with grace. And when spring comes, you're ready. You're rested. You're clear. Or let's say you're in your inner spring. You wake up and you feel creative, inspired, like you want to start 10 new projects at once. The old version of you would either ignore that energy completely, or you'd scatter it in 1,000 directions and nothing would actually get done. But the new version of you, you recognize, I'm in spring. This is my planting phase. I need to choose my seeds wisely. So you take that creative energy and you channel it intentionally. You pick 1 or 2 projects that actually matter. You brainstorm, you plan, you reach out to people, you explore. But you don't overcommit. You don't say yes to everything just because you feel energized. You plant seeds, real ones that you'll actually be able to tend during summer and harvest during autumn. And the result? Your projects actually take root. They actually grow because you didn't scatter your energy. You focused it. Or let's say you're in your inner summer. You wake up and you feel like a goddamn queen. You're confident, you're sharp, you're magnetic. The old version of you would either waste that energy on things that don't matter, or you'd be so terrified of losing it that you'd try to force it to stay forever. But the new version of you, you recognize, I'm in summer. This is my power phase. I need to use it strategically. So you schedule your most important meetings during this week. You have the difficult conversation you've been avoiding. You launch the project you've been preparing. You ask for the raise. You set the boundary. You make the move. You use your summer fully, completely, without holding back. Because you know it won't last forever. And you know that's okay. Because you're not trying to live in summer forever. You're just maximizing the summer you have. And the result? You make things happen. You create momentum. You build the life you actually want. Or let's say you're in your inner autumn. You wake up and you feel irritable, critical, like you can see through everyone's bullshit and you're done pretending you don't. The old version of you would suppress that. You'd tell yourself you're being too harsh, too judgmental, too difficult. You'd force yourself to be nice. You'd apologize for feelings you didn't even express. But the new version of you? You recognize, I'm in autumn. This is my truth-telling phase. My body is showing me what needs to be released. So you pay attention. You notice what's bothering you. You ask yourself, is this a boundary I need to set? Is this a relationship I need to end? Is this a commitment I need to let go of? And then you act on it, not impulsively, not cruelly, but honestly. You have the conversation. You set the boundary. You say no. You let go. And the result? You enter your next winter lighter, clearer, freer, because you didn't carry dead weight into the next cycle. You released it. As you know, this is what it looks like to live in alignment with your cycle. It's not about being perfect. It's not about controlling your entire environment. It's not about demanding that the world bend to your rhythm. It's about honoring yourself, respecting your energy, making small strategic choices that add up to a completely different life. And the more you do it, the more natural it becomes. You start to anticipate your phases. You start to plan around them. You start to work with them instead of against them. And your life, it starts to flow. Not because everything is easy, but because you're no longer fighting yourself every step of the way. You're finally on your own side. Now let's talk about what this does to your relationships. Because here's something nobody tells you. When you start honoring your cycle, the people around you will notice. Some of them will love it. They'll respect it. They'll be relieved that you're finally being honest about your needs. But some of them, they're going to resist it. Because they like the version of you that was always available. Always accommodating. Always putting their needs before your own. And when you start setting boundaries, when you start saying no, when you start prioritizing your own rhythm over their convenience, they're not going to like it. They're going to call you selfish. They're going to say you've changed. They're going to make you feel guilty for taking care of yourself. And this is where most women give up, because the guilt is overwhelming, because the fear of being disliked is paralyzing, because the pressure to go back to being easy is intense. But here's what you need to understand. Those people, they were never really there for you. They were there for what you could do for them, for how you made them feel, for the role you played in their life. They weren't there for the real you, because the real you has needs, has boundaries, has phases where you're not available, not accommodating, not pleasant. And if someone can only love you when you're convenient, that's not love. That's exploitation. Your cycle will show you that. Your autumn phase especially, because that's when your tolerance for fake relationships evaporates. And yes, it's painful. Yes, it's scary. Yes, you'll lose people. But you won't lose the right people. The people who truly love you. They'll adjust. They'll learn. They'll respect your rhythm even if they don't fully understand it. They'll say things like, "Hey, I noticed you seem like you need space this week. Let me know when you're ready to connect." They'll stop taking your autumn mood personally. They'll stop expecting you to be the same person every single day. They'll love you cyclically, the way you actually are. And those people, they're worth keeping. Everyone else, let them go. Your body already knows who belongs in your life and who doesn't. It's been trying to tell you for years, but you kept overriding it, kept making excuses, kept giving people second chances, third chances, infinite chances. Because you were taught that being a good woman means being endlessly forgiving, endlessly patient, endlessly available. But that's not what being a good woman means. Being a good woman means being honest, being aligned, being true to your own rhythm. And if that makes you difficult, then so be it. You're not here to be easy. You're here to be real. Let's go even deeper now, because there's another layer to this that most people never talk about. Your cycle doesn't just affect your energy and your relationships. It affects the way reality responds to you. And I know that sounds mystical. I know it sounds too good to be true. But stay with me. Because there's a reason why ancient traditions honored feminine cycles. Why indigenous cultures built entire rituals around menstruation. Why moon phases and women's bodies have been linked for thousands of years. It's not superstition. It's not metaphor. It's energy. Your body is an electromagnetic field, and that field changes depending on where you are in your cycle. During your inner winter, your energy is introspective, magnetic, receptive. You're pulling information in, not broadcasting it out. During your inner spring, your energy is expansive, exploratory, curious. You're opening to new possibilities, new connections, new ideas. During your inner summer, your energy is radiating, powerful, confident. You're broadcasting your intentions, your desires, your truth. During your inner autumn, your energy is discerning, clearing, protective. You're filtering out what doesn't belong, what doesn't serve, what doesn't align. And reality responds to energy. Not in some woo-woo manifesting unicorns kind of way, but in a very real, very tangible way. When you're in your power phase, opportunities show up. People notice you. Doors open. When you're in your rest phase, insights come. Solutions appear. Clarity emerges. When you're in your release phase, things fall away. Situations resolve themselves. Problems disappear. But only if you're honoring the phase you're in. If you're trying to force your power phase during your rest phase, nothing happens. You're pushing against the natural flow of your energy. If you're trying to rest during your power phase, you miss the window. The opportunity passes. Timing is everything. And your body already knows the timing. It's trying to show you when to act, when to wait, when to speak, when to listen, when to push, when to surrender. But you've been ignoring it. You've been following external timelines, external deadlines, external expectations, And then you wonder why things feel so hard, why you're always swimming upstream. It's because you are. You're swimming against your own current. Here's what happens when you stop doing that. When you start trusting your cycle. When you start acting in alignment with your energy instead of against it. Things get easier. Not because the world changed, but because you're finally working with the flow of your own life force. You launch a project during your summer phase, and it takes off. Not because you worked harder, but because your energy was aligned with the action. You have a difficult conversation during your autumn phase, and it goes better than expected. Not because you said the perfect words, but because your energy was clear, direct, honest. You rest during your winter phase, and the answer you've been searching for suddenly appears. Not because you figured it out, but because you created space for it to emerge. This is what alignment feels like. This is what it feels like to live in sync with your body instead of at war with it. And once you experience it, you can't go back. You can't unknow what you now know. You can't unfeel what you've just felt. So let me ask you again, where are you in your cycle right now? Are you in winter, resisting the stillness? Are you in spring, scattering your energy? Are you in summer, terrified of the autumn ahead? Are you in autumn, apologizing for your truth? Because wherever you are, you're exactly where you need to be. There's no wrong phase. There's no bad season. There's only alignment or resistance. And resistance is what's been killing you. The exhaustion, the burnout, the anxiety, the disconnection. It's all coming from one place. The war you've been waging against your own body. But you can stop fighting anytime you want. You can lay down your weapons. You can surrender to your rhythm. You can come home to yourself. And when you do, everything changes. Not overnight, not magically, but gradually, steadily, undeniably. You start to feel like yourself again. The version of you that you forgot existed. The version that's connected, alive, powerful. You stop apologizing for needing what you need. You stop explaining yourself. You stop performing. You just are. Cyclical, rhythmic, real, and the world adjusts. Not because you demanded it, but because you stopped betraying yourself. Because you stopped abandoning your own needs to meet everyone else's expectations. Because you finally chose you. This is the truth they've been hiding from you. Not because it's a secret, but because if you knew it, you'd be too powerful to control. You'd stop overworking yourself to prove your worth. You'd stop saying yes when you mean no. You'd stop tolerating relationships that drain you. You'd stop living in a constant state of depletion. You'd start trusting yourself, your body, your rhythm. And that's dangerous. Not to you, but to a system that profits from your exhaustion, that benefits from your disconnection, that needs you to stay small, to stay confused, to stay at war with yourself. But you're done with that now, because you see it. You see the lie, you see the game, and you're choosing something different. You're choosing your body, your cycle, your truth. And that choice, that's where your power lives. Not in being perfect, not in being consistent, not in being the same person every single day, but in being cyclical, in being honest, in being aligned. That's where your magic is. That's where your freedom is. That's where your life is. So here's my final question for you. Are you ready to stop fighting yourself? Are you ready to honor your rhythm instead of betraying it? Are you ready to come home to your body? Because it's been waiting for you this whole time. Your body has been trying to guide you, support you, protect you. But you kept ignoring it, kept overriding it, kept treating it like the enemy. And now you know better. Now you can choose differently. Now you can finally live the way you were always meant to live. Cyclical, powerful, free. The truth has been revealed. The question is, what are you going to do with it? Drop in the comments. Which phase are you in right now, and what's one thing you're going to do differently this week to honor it? Because this isn't just information. This is transformation. And transformation doesn't happen when you just consume content. It happens when you take action. So tell me, what's your first step? What's the one thing you're going to change starting today? Your body is waiting for your answer. And so am I.